Hey everybody, heads up at the beginning of this one. This is a pilot episode of a new format that we're looking at for the off weeks, and it's all about reviews. And we'll go through and explain that more clearly. But we did a really good job of one thing, and that is forgetting to add a spoiler alert. So go into this knowing that we could at any given moment just give a spoiler for any single part of the very, very long movie that is Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Enjoy. If you haven't seen it, who cares? Watch it anyway. Listen to it anyway. Have fun. Thanks for listening. And give us some feedback. Rate the show. And check us out on all the different platforms. Cinema Lounge Pod, Discord, Instagram, Facebook. Everywhere! It's like Gary Oldman says in Leon the Professional. If everything, then enjoy the show. Hey, Ben.
Marshall, hey, look at us. It's like we're back in 2020.
It's super weird.
Recording.
I love how we're both kind of quiet.
Yeah?
Just to each other. It's different than when we're in person.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy in the room, and right now I feel like it's just me and a box of Cheez-Its.
That's sad, but also I don't even have a box of Cheez-Its, which makes me sad.
Honestly, I like recording on distance like this because I can snack, and that's pretty much it.
It's going to be noises.
No, it's just Cheez-Its. They're not even loud.
I can hear it over Discord, which means that I can. It's Puffs too. Are you kidding me?
No. That's just the advertisement on the back to make you buy Puffs.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hear it. If I can hear it through Discord, I'm gonna be able to hear it even clearer on your recording.
Nom nom. Okay, fine. I guess I'll switch to my dried mango slices.
Oh my gosh.
I came prepared for this 30-minute episode.
People don't want to hear you chew.
You won't even hear me. It's like fruit leather. It's soft.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna hear the squelching noises?
Squelch, squelch. No, it's dry. We're good. I'm not gonna actually eat, Marshall. I brought them in as a joke to make to make a joke. Haha.
You say that now.
And now this is our segue into talking about the new podcast format.
Whoa! Which is what?
Well, you see, listeners and Marshall, we're recording.
I'm listening.
30-minute episodes because there's so much good cinema stuff out there, you know? There's the root of what we're doing for the long form episodes, the hour-long episodes, is sharing with the listeners a movie that Marshall and I think is great. Oftentimes, it's a movie that you haven't seen or heard about. At least, you know, it can be. It could be a popular thing. It's something that me and Marshall think are great. But so many good things that are great come out on the regs that it's tempting to choose new movies. But then it turns into like a weird, like, now we're talking about new things, but it's a great movie, but then we're...
Or is it even great, but we just want to watch a new thing,
right,
and we don't know if it's going to be good or not, and does that betray the format? Exactly.
Like, let's say the new Indiana Jones movie coming out in 2023 is a good example. Yeah. Marshall and I love Indiana Jones. We think Indiana Jones is great. Then we get tempted to watch the new Indiana Jones movie, and then it just turns into a review podcast. And there's a bajillion review podcasts out there. So, you know, but we want to talk about it. We like it. It's fun. You guys clearly want to listen to them because that's what the analytics tell us. So, New format is we still do the hour-long pod episodes, sharing with you a movie or film cinema that we think is great. But then we also have these fun off week, quote unquote, 30-minute episodes that are nice and toit, but give us a chance to you know, talk about something with a little less preparation. That way we can kind of commit a lot more energy into the long episodes, do some research, be prepared, actually inform you guys and teach you something, share with you why we think the movie's great. But then also have these ones where we can kind of just get on record. Hence why we're at home. Hence why I'm eating dried mangoes and Cheez-Its for this episode.
Hence why you're not eating mangoes and Cheez-Its.
Yes, okay, fine.
You heathen.
Yep. Did I say all that?
I see you.
Did that? feel right to you, Marshall? Was there anything you wanted to throw in on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think we've just been trying to figure out something to do in the off weeks for a long time, and doing just an extra episode of the regular show would just be way too much. It's just too much to do with the way our schedules are right now. And I mean, my schedule is going to be changing, so who knows, maybe it's more feasible than it used to be. But even then, like, it's going to be easier to find something that's an easier edit, a faster show, a shorter show, and something that allows us to talk about new releases where that wouldn't usually fit our format necessarily, because if we haven't seen something before, then we don't necessarily know if it's great. And if it's brand new, we don't really know if it's great. And we might go and see it and think, this kind of sucks. And that's not what the show is about. To quote an old in-joke of the podcast, that's not what this show is about. So that's what we're doing here now. Relax, Ben. Quit. Relax.
I don't know.
Chillax.
I'm outside of that joke. I don't even know.
I saw your reaction. You chill.
I don't even know. I was feeling excluded.
You did it again.
Okay?
Chill out.
I just threw a text in the Cinema Lounge Discord saying, hey, everybody, we need a name for the off week episodes. Because calling it an off week, that just sounds negative, you know? It's not an off week. It might be a great week, but it's the off week from our normal podcast. So we need a name. We need something. Names are important, I've decided recently. And by that I mean I read some stuff where people are like, naming things is valuable. Like, when you give it a name, sometimes it speaks truth into whatever the experience is. Like, oh yeah, okay. It has a name. That's great. Sometimes, it's even saying like, oh, what I'm feeling is this. I named it. That's good for me to name it. That's what that's what therapists freaking do. So
we're gonna name the show Anxiety Hour.
Well, even if it's just coming up with a name for something. Yeah, exactly. No, that's what we'll call it. Yeah, but even the Cinema Lounge podcast, right? Like, you came up with a name for it. It used to be Ben and Marshall do a podcast. You were like, the name that would be closer to the truth of what it is the Cinema Lounge podcast. It brings with it something. You could call it branding, but that feels too corporate. Branding is a gross word. I think giving it a name is valuable.
Yeah, and we'll figure out what that is. I don't think we need to know that yet necessarily. That's kind of that'll be next Thursday when this comes out. So we've got time to continually edit the post that I'll put up. But Ben and Marshall Do a Podcast just came out of us not having a name for it until we posted it. We're like, I guess it's us and we're doing a podcast, so we'll call it Ben and Marshall Do a Podcast. So I don't know. I think something having to do with Cinema Lounge, or even something having to do with Ben and Marshall Do a Podcast, because it's still the same show. Like, it's not going to show up on a separate RSS feed. It's all going to be under Cinema Lounge. So I don't necessarily want it to be a completely different thing, as much as maybe like Cinema Lounge Presents even, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, all that said, should we talk about Avatar?
Yeah, okay, so I just checked. We're 7 minutes in, so now
7 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah, so now we gotta go. We gotta talk about Avatar. So let's make a short episode about a long-ass movie.
Yeah, it is long, and it feels long.
You think so? I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised.
I don't know. I think this is, first of all, we'll do our regular script score, cinematography, all that stuff really fast. I didn't write it all down, but I can just prattle it off. The script and directing is James Cameron. He wrote most of this. He had two co-writers. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but he directed this as well as the first one. Score, I don't know who did the music. We're doing really good at this so far. Cinematography, don't know. Performances, we have Sam Worthington, Gamora, Zoe Saldana.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. The Stephen Lang is back, even though he died, as is Sigourney Weaver, even though she died. Sigourney is a different character, as well as the same character briefly. VFX done by probably Weta and a lot of other people. We haven't done a lot of research. We will have slightly more research in the future. I should have just written this down.
Kate Winslet.
Huh? Is she the teal queen?
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Kind of fun, huh?
That's crazy. Oh, Jermaine Clement for like 2 minutes?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that so fun? For not even for 2 minutes. I like that role.
What?
So great.
I was so confused.
Marshall,
yeah, that's Avatar.
The co-writers are Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver.
Okay, and who did the music? Composer. You're looking for a composer.
Simon Franklin.
Simon Franklin. I do not know that name. What have they done?
He took over from James Horner following the legendary composer's tragic passing.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I thought James Horner did the first one. I forgot that he died recently.
Ripperoni.
Oh, my gosh.
How'd he die?
I think it was just natural causes. It was during COVID, but I don't think it was COVID.
Gotcha. Huh. Well,
James Horner is incredible. Okay. Interesting. Well, the music was actually pretty good, I thought. One of the things that I thought was actually notable.
Oh, God. Marshall, you lied.
Talk about the visual effects. What?
He died in 2015 when his turboprop aircraft crashed into the Los Padres National Forest in California.
What?
He was the only occupant of the aircraft. Oh.
That's crazy.
It was an accident though. So, yep.
Oh, wasn't foul play?
No, it wasn't foul play. They ruled it an
Okay,
accident.
that's what I was worried about.
Yep.
Ben, I want to know what you think about the movie.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm trying to use a new word to describe movies sometimes. I heard
Stupid.
Adam Savage of Mythbusters and Tested fame. He recently described a movie as terrific. He said it wasn't an amazing movie, but it was a terrific movie, which I think is a fun word to describe movies where I sit there and I have a lot of fun with it, and I think, it wasn't like the best movie of all time, but it kept me entertained, and it felt like a blockbuster, or, it did everything it was supposed to do. It wasn't, it's not gonna win all these crazy awards. So I think calling it a terrific movie, insert movie. He wasn't talking about Avatar. He's just like, that was a terrific movie. And that's how I felt about Avatar. I felt like I let myself be immersed in the world. I was
Avatar 2 specifically.
Yes,
I don't think we've said Avatar 2 this entire time.
Yeah, The Way of Water. The Way of Water. I was engaged. It was fun.
Congrats.
Thank you. Ring on my finger.
Yeah.
Oh, single ladies. Okay. Anyway, I thought it was terrific. I thought it was fun, and not over-analyzing it was fun for me. I went in with pretty much zero expectations. If anything, I went in with low expectations. Marshall and I rewatched the first half of Avatar 1 a couple of weeks before watching this. And
you rewatched. I watched for the first time.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, we should talk about that experience. So I rewatched and I was like, this movie is fine. And so I went into this one feeling like this might just be fine. And I think it was more than fine. I'll say it.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was very fun. It was terrific. Marshall, what did you think?
By that definition of terrific, I would agree. I think that it's better than the first one by like a pretty large margin.
I think so too.
I don't think it's amazing, but it's also at least an original story, where the first one is literally just Space Pocahontas with no changes other than like the setting essentially and the framing device of the avatars.
Yeah. The one thing I would say to the story, yes, original story, but also same formula to the story.
Super
this time
predictable.
around. It was just like, okay, introduce the world, introduce bad guy, introduce good guy, introduce more world, a lot more world. Get you to care a lot about the world. Bad guy hurts the world. Audience gets pissed at bad guy. That's what awakens the native peoples, and then native peoples win, mostly.
Yeah, this felt like a more definitive victory than the last one, though. Like the last one, I guess the last one was maybe more definitive just because they were like, hey, we're sending you back to your dang planet. And in this one, it's just, we beat up all your friends, Stephen Lang. And it's like, I guess... So, I don't know. I think James Cameron keeps talking about how these movies, and even the third one apparently, are all set up for what's eventually going to happen, which is crazy. And I can kind of see that a little bit. And the movie certainly takes its time to really establish different things and different characters and different relationships. But it doesn't necessarily feel slow as much as it just kind of feels to me like it's wandering at times.
Yeah.
And like there are some things that come up that just don't come back.
Yeah.
That presumably Cameron is going to talk about in the next one or the one after that or the one after that.
Yeah.
So like the one thing that I can really think of is how they really don't ever actually address how or why or what's going on with Sigourney Weaver, who is Navi Jesus, essentially. Like there's something going on with her where like they do a Chekhov's gun like 2 times in the movie. And one of them is when she plugs into the Tree of Souls or whatever it is, and she has the seizure or religious experience, whatever it is, science or magic. And then the doctor guy, I have notes here. I was taking notes and I'll read them to you in a bit here because they're kind of just stream of consciousness. The doctor guy is like, you can't let her plug into that tree again, which you hear that and you're like, okay, so when's she going to plug in again?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen. We're like, whoa. Like you would think that that's setting up, oh, well, it's going to get to something and she's going to have to plug into the tree to do some sacrifice or something or do some big thing. And it's going to be a big moment. And they just don't do that. There was another one early on. Oh, it was literally at the very beginning when the 2 brothers are flying on their monsters, whatever you want to call them. And they go down and the older brother almost dies. And Jake is like, you almost got your brother killed. Don't do that again. And of course, at the end, older brother dies. So that one does come back. But it's just, I don't know. There are things that wander. And I think for me, I'm forgiving that a little more than I usually would, just because I know that James Cameron is, no pun intended, playing the long game. The very, very, very long game. But I don't know. The story overall, I think, was very good. It felt like a series of vignettes.
Just with that too, I think I'm more forgiving of it because, like, honestly, sit back with the bag of popcorn in the movie theater and just like let yourself experience this world. Like, honestly, it was pretty fun. It was pretty enjoyable. I know that some people left the theater and they were like, that was really boring. They were in the water for half the movie, or like they just kept showing me animals and I didn't care about the animals. I just wanted the story. And other people left the theater and they were like, whoa, that was immersive. I love that world. I even the advertisements were going back to Pandora, it was, so
and
I think
other people left the theater and thought those blue people are super hot.
Yeah. I wish there was more,
and
more
that's
tail
what
sex.
you thought and not what I thought.
Yeah, Marshall, that's right. I didn't go home and Google things.
Good job, Ben. Great. Good joke. Quality, top tier comedy.
So
amazing
stupid.
stuff. I'm putting that on the highlight reel.
Please don't.
It's going to be our number one.
funny.
I still need to make a trailer, and that's going to be the trailer.
And everyone's
is
gonna
Ben's
use it in
awesome
their
Rule
TikToks.
34 joke. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. People.
Oh, boy.
I'm a funny guy. What can I say? Marshall's the straight
What can
man.
I say about funny stuff?
I'm the blue alien man.
The blue boy.
Abadia Badaya.
Do you want to hear my notes?
Yeah, I do want to hear your notes. Also, man, fast episodes. We got 12 minutes left. What a world.
If it goes to like 30 to 40 is kind of the goal.
Nope. It can't be.
That's what I said was the goal. It was 30 to 40.
I will turn off.
Why can't it be?
I will mute my mic after 30 minutes.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I want to hear your notes. I want to hear them.
Here's my notes. Okay. Are you ready?
As you were stream of consciousness in the theater?
As I'm watching the movie, yes.
You bad boy with your phone.
This is all dimmed and I sat in the back for that reason. Okay, so we have ships entering atmosphere. Gorgeous. Incredible look.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll say is the CG in the first one, revolutionary in 2009. Watching it now, I've seen video game cinematics that look way better than that movie does now, especially when you put the avatars next to human beings. It just looks so goofy and cheap.
Yeah.
And it's way better in this one.
Yeah.
you still get that uncanny valley when you put them next to humans. It just looks goofy as hell a lot of the time, especially when you see the people in the stick figure exosuits. It just looks so silly to me.
Yeah. At least I feel like they CG'd humans more often too this time. I feel like, or
yeah,
at least
it made them fit in a lot better,
more convincingly when it wasn't an actual human that they were trying to. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't get the image of Stephen Lang in the mech in the first movie talking to Jake in the mech out of my head, and it just looks so bad.
Yeah.
Like it's so, and he's like not perfectly stabilized on the mech in like it's so weird. But yeah, visually stunning, a lot of really gorgeous shots. The one that most stuck out was one of the first shots, which was the ships on re-entry and the forest burning. It was incredible. One of my favorite lines in any movie ever, you can't kill Marines, we regroup in hell.
Yeah. Fun.
So cringy and stupid. I hate it so much.
Isn't that like a repeating line? Don't like other movies like... I couldn't tell how much of that was tongue-in-cheek and how much of it... I feel like they shouldn't have even written all those weird things in. I feel like it usually pulled me out. I was like, that's dumb.
I don't know if Cameron is trying to make the Marines stupid, or if this is just what he thinks cool soldier guys talk like. I genuinely have no clue because I don't...
Well, it was the same thing in the
James
first
Cameron
movie, too.
is back and forth.
Like, it was the exact same in the first movie.
It was.
Yeah.
But that's why I have no clue.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, we're gonna go get those blue guys. Oorah,
Yeah.
heck yeah, that's right. Hell yeah, Colonel.
Yeah.
Oorah, 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 oorah. Like over and like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like,
now, something that I think
no one talks like this.
Part of the reason that I feel like the movie is a nice, I can sit there and experience it thing is because, and I don't know how much I like this or don't like it, is that it's so easy to be like, hell yeah, avatars, you kill those humans. Like, clearly,
because the humans just suck.
Anytime a human dies, I'm like, that's awesome. They deserve to die. Like it's just like there's like so clearly good guys and bad guys in both of these movies, and I don't know how much of that is just fun, and I don't have to think too much about it, like, or how much I'm actually wanting them to make it more difficult, or you know what I'm saying, like that it's not just simple black and white, good guys, bad guys, but having the Marines be like that makes it pretty easy for me to be like, yeah, that's fine, you can die.
Well, it seemed almost as though Jermaine was supposed to be a back and forth character a little bit, like the way Spider is a tiny bit, but like Jermaine, it just seems like they wanted him to be a character who was like kind of a good guy, but they just didn't commit to it at all.
Yeah.
He just like quietly stands there and you're like, I think that he's disapproving of this, but he's also enabling all of it. Like he doesn't seem upset, but he doesn't seem happy about this. And the same thing kind of with Spider is like, I get that this is supposed to be your dad or something, and how did that happen? I don't know. But I don't know. I just didn't find that character compelling.
All of a sudden, it was like, he's super pissed. I'm not going to work with you guys. And then there was one scene, and he totally like turns around and is like totally fine with being with the other.
Yeah, he's like
bad guys the whole time. Yeah,
helping them all the way. It's like, what do you do? Oh, dude, let me keep going with my notes.
Okay.
CG looks miles better, but still like video game at times, and especially next to humans. Jake blasting a rifle while flying at the start is hilarious, and I burst out laughing. It was completely unexpected, but when they just cut to Jake on his thing with an assault rifle, just going pow 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 pow, and he going ah la 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 la, and I was like, it killed me, dude. There were so many like unintentionally hilarious moments in this for me.
I laughed a couple times in this movie, louder than anyone else in the theater, and my sister
100%
punched me both times. It's like, shut up, dude.
Another one of them, Carmela Soprano. The general, the woman general is played by Tony Soprano's wife.
I didn't put that together. Oh, interesting.
And I could not take her seriously.
The part of the movie that blew my brain the most was when she was in the exosuit thing, drinking a mug of coffee, and her hand went to her mouth. And then the exosuit somehow realized it needed to put its hand in its own chest, which is where her mouth is. I was just like, I couldn't make that compute.
Don't
like, that
understand.
shouldn't be working.
I'm sure James Cameron has some weird reason that all works perfectly, and like, well, it's this and this and this, and if you think about this science, and I talked to Neil deGrasse Tyson, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, Neil deGrasse Tyson would hate this movie. It's unrealistic because of the space atmosphere. It's unrealistic because there's freaking 8-foot-tall blue aliens, you idiot. Sigourney Weaver is totally believable as this kid. She sometimes sounds like a fully grown human, though.
Yeah.
Like, she really quickly goes between I'm 14 and I'm 70.
There was a couple times where it was like, at the beginning of the movie, it took me a little bit to figure out if it was Sigourney Weaver or not. I was like, it is. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Cool.
The interrogation with the spinning green thing is so unintentionally funny, it kills me. It was just, dude, I could not stop laughing while they were torturing Spider.
Are you serious?
It was so funny to me. Just this green spinning thing, and he's like wired up to it, going, ah, ah, ah! And Carmela is just standing there like, I'm just waiting. Like, she's just being Carmela Soprano. She's like, I'm just, Tony, come on, just tell me what I want to know. It's like, what are we?
So funny.
It's like, he's not talking, Colonel. I guess just kill him or something.
Just kill him, yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
oh my God, wild.
Sigourney is Space Jesus. Or Navi Jesus.
I love that this is your stream of consciousness as you're watching the movie. Like, Space Jesus.
From this point on, it becomes very stream of consciousness.
What do you mean by Space Jesus, meaning like the link between...
She seems to be like the savior of the Navi in some way. Like, that seems like the thing that she is going to be happening. Like, she's able to connect with Awa in a deeper way, and she's able to control the animals and plants and stuff or something. Which is strange. I'll just read it. Stream of consciousness now here. Sigourney is Navi Jesus. Major, there's always a bigger fish moment. How smart is this whale?
Yes,
and the answer greatly changes how I view every other creature in this world. Whale update. So the whale can fully communicate. Navi Jesus update. Definitely Navi Jesus. All the soldiers look like nerds and losers. Their kit is all too perfect and clean, like it was made that morning. Nothing looks lived in. Jermaine! Whale update. Everyone has their own whale friend, and they can all talk completely perfectly to each other. This is just anime for normies. They have big crabs now. Jermaine American accent is terrifying. They take the anti-aging powder gel from the whales, and it only costs $80 million? There's just a weird digital cheapness to all the human scenes. The crab subs and the big front arms are sweet. Whale update. Whale attack. Whale update. Whale kill men take arm. Neytiri going demon mode at the end is sweet, and Die Hard ending.
Die Hard ending?
There's a point where the Colonel has one of the kids or somebody with a knife, and it's just like Hans Gruber and Holly, and then he's walking up this exact same way, and I'm just waiting for him to go grab the gun that he's got taped to his back.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen though.
It doesn't happen.
Just stupid. Should have happened.
How many times while you were watching it, Marshall, were you tempted to like reach down and pick up a controller?
Zero. And I honestly, I think if they made an Avatar game, I would not play it. I'm not interested. I don't care enough about this world or these characters.
What I meant was, I feel like multiple times while I was watching it, I was expecting there to be a little thing, a dialogue box that pops up in the bottom that says like, you know, press X to continue or something like that. Like, I felt like multiple scenes felt like a cutscene in a video game, and I was
and you're waiting to get that shot that like slowly pans behind the character and then goes higher up above them, and then they stop moving and go into their idle animation.
Yeah,
and then you need to start playing. You need to start moving.
It feels like that multiple times. I feel like.
Yeah,
dude.
Maybe I don't know.
Why does he still use those artificial zooms?
There weren't nearly as many. There weren't nearly as many.
Every time
it was way worse in the first one.
It was never necessary though, especially when they're going for going for like a kind of a natural camera look. I feel like in quite a bit of it, and then suddenly it's like, no, digital. Like, yeah.
Like, okay, well this is obviously not real.
Yeah, right.
Like if the whole thing is you're trying to place it in reality.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they do a really good job of that. And in something like this, there's such a balance that has to be played with that. Like with Toy Story, they had to develop, because that was the first ever fully CG animated movie. Mm-hmm. They had to learn how to do all kinds of stuff, but the biggest thing they had to do was create digital cameras that worked like real cameras.
Yeah.
Because if you have just a digital screen, it doesn't look right. And it doesn't feel like it's grounded in reality. It looks super artificial. So there's this whole crazy science behind making an artificial camera play and work like a real one. And those digital zooms, they don't work, I think, because they're always in a shot where there would not physically be a cameraman. It wouldn't make sense for there to be physically a cameraman. Like you're in space, and then they could do a boom. And like I always picture the one from like the beginning of Star Trek 2009, where the engine machine, whatever it is, comes down on the George Kirk's ship, and JJ does a big foop. And I'm just like, I hate it. Mm-hmm. Oh, Man of Steel does one too, where the world engine is coming down. It just feels so weird to me, and it's also just a motif that I associate more with comedy. Like the sudden zoom and everything is a very like, it doesn't lend itself to serious stuff to me.
Yeah, I think it's almost always him trying to make it feel like an action scene, and it almost just feels like yeah.
You know what action movie James Cameron made? That has no stupid digital zooms and is often called the best action movie of all time.
Titanic?
Yes. No, Terminator 2.
Oh, so close. Damn.
Yeah, there's a T.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean,
T2
pretty actiony at the end, you know.
Yeah, dude. Women and children first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, lots of action. Anyway.
Ben, you've made a mistake. You've made a mistake, Ben.
That's not what I meant. I meant like the
And we're at 31 minutes, so now we're going to cut it off right there.
I'm going to mute myself.
And we're not going to have any time for you to expand on that, Ben. We're just going to have you sit with that. This is going to be the episode that we advertise with from now on.
I just spilled coffee on my pants.
I spilled water all over my desk a while ago, and I didn't say anything.
Trial run for this.
It is.
What else is there to say about this movie? Did you see it in 3D?
No, I want to actually enjoy the movie.
Oh, what? I saw it in 3D. It was awesome.
I don't like 3D. I think 3D is stupid and takes away visual fidelity. Even the way that 3D is now, where it's a lot better than it was. I want to see this visually stunning movie in the most clear possible way.
Wow. Interesting.
I'm not interested in 3D in the slightest. It's always been a gimmick to me.
Wow. I thought it was pretty fun. I haven't been to a 3D movie, honestly, maybe since the last Avatar. It was a good time. I wonder how that changes our viewing experiences. Let's go watch it again. I'll watch it not in 3D. You watch it in 3D.
Oof. I don't want to watch this again. I liked it. I have no desire to ever watch it again. Just same thing with the first Avatar.
Interesting.
And I think that brings us to the ultimate question, Ben, which is Avatar 2, directed by James Cameron, The Way of Water, yes or no?
I think yes. I would say yes to people. What about you?
I would say yeah.
Okay.
It's better than the first one.
I would
which is not a high bar.
Yeah, going into it, I had some people who asked me if they should see the first one first, and I hadn't seen the second one. So I was like, yeah, probably. I don't know. And now that I've seen the second one, I wouldn't recommend the first one, honestly. The only thing that would be confusing would be like the new avatars coming back. Like I think that was kind of actually more cool than I thought it would be. Like with with their memory ingrained in them. Like honestly, that was like a pretty cool way to make baddies for this movie. More cool than I thought it would be.
If you're going to manufacture a way to bring Stephen Lang back.
Yeah,
That's an okay way.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I would say skip the first one, honestly, and just watch the second one. I felt this movie made me feel emotional a couple times. Maybe it's just the family stuff. I don't know. It was definitely the family stuff. When they were cutting back to the family memories at the end, I was feeling emotional. Like the passage of time, or like being with kids while they're young, and then like, they're burying their son. And I was like, wow, that was like actually meaningful to me leaving the theater. I was feeling like, oh wow, that made me feel a thing that I think is good, which is to consider the passage of time and parents burying their kids. I don't know. I think that made me feel things. So I would say yes. I was more moved than I thought I would be. But
interesting. I would watch the first one still.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think that there's some important context of just explaining, giving more context to the world that you don't get in this one. Right. I don't know. Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening to this pilot version of whatever this is, and maybe the Glass Onion episode, which will be the next off-week podcast Cinema Lounge presents. Maybe that could be what it is. Cinema Lounge presents. That could just be the name.
That sounds
and
great.
then it could just be the movie. Cinema Lounge presents Avatar: The Way of Water.
Cool. That sounds great.
That's one idea.
Ooh, what if we called it a screening? I'm just spitballing.
Like, what do you
here.
mean?
Like, the idea is that like everyone's coming to the lounge for an exclusive screening of the movie. Like, I don't know. It was just I'm spitballing here. Whatever. I don't care.
Quit spitting those balls. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll check out the next episode of the show. Who knows what the next episode of the real show will be? We'll find that out sometime, and you'll find that out sometime. Maybe it's Star Trek 2009, but probably not. Thanks everyone for listening. As always, I have been Marshall.
And I've been Ben.